Hey YouTube, thank you for coming back to Universe X, and today we are going to dive into all the information we currently have on day one of multiple regionals that we get to talk about. This is going to be crazy. I'm very excited to dive into it, and I feel like I'm the first person actually going to this far of the info. So if you like that sort of competitive content, and you like seeing it coming from Universe X2, think about hitting that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button, because I am firing on all cylinders. Literally got home from work, passed out because I was sleepy, got up, came out to give this content. So let's actually hear it. Now, before I get into that, just gotta give the normal plugs as soon as possible. If you haven't been to the official Facebook group for the card game, that's where we get our official spoilers, our official announcements. You should go visit it. There's also the discussion group on Facebook where we talk about all this stuff, and my gosh, there's a lot to talk about tonight, so we will get into that too. Then you have the Reddit. Okay, the Reddit, you're gonna find more text-based discussions. Conversation pops off there. You've got the Universe X Discord, you've got the Universe X Facebook group. There's a lot of places where you can just talk about this game and receive more information. Now, past that, gotta give a shout out to my homie and partial sponsor, TCGMetalZ. They make the coolest metal cards. I've got a bunch of their gold series ready for a giveaway, just trying to figure out the best time for that and the best time to do that. But at the same time, if you like Universe X but you want to see me in a different light, different kind of format of content, we've got UniXDB where I focus on Dragon Ball related games. Right now, Dokkan Battle and Legends hold some nasty stuff this week. You should definitely check that out. As well as Unix Gacha, where I play different Gacha games like currently My Hero Academia, Ultra Impact, where I also just pulled Savage on that too. It's just 2 weeks of just pulling stuff. Got a video with IGN where we go off on Realm of the Gods and Mythic Booster, and I actually pulled the secret rare on camera. It's pretty cool. So if you want our game to grow, try hopping over to there. That will also be in the description. And yeah, just plenty of stuff to go off of. So, that being said, first and foremost, without saying anything negative, I want to just let everybody know that I appreciate these tournaments for being held. I appreciate new prizing for being made by Bandai. I appreciate the players for showing up. I appreciate the players for doing well. Even if you didn't do well, just for showing up and playing, you deserve kudos. But I also want to say, I have never had a tournament where so many of my homies have come out and just shined. I am so proud looking at some of these top lists because these are players that I've seen grow. These are players that I've seen start off good and flourish. Some of these players started off watching the good players and now flourishing. I am so proud of you guys. And there's gonna be a lot of shout outs today. There were 4 different fests that happened today. There was one in Texas, there was one in Latin America, there's one in Asia, and then there's also one in Europe. So we got a lot to talk about, and I'm gonna try to make sure that doesn't take forever and a half. And so we're gonna get the smaller ones, and by smaller ones I mean the ones that I don't have as much info with, out of the way, and then we're gonna keep it going from there. So the first thing I want to go about, because some of these didn't have coverage, only actually one of these had stream coverage. One of these had efforts done by the Evan U7 character himself, trying to just make sure we got some sort of coverage. But starting off with the ones that didn't really have coverage, we're gonna go to Europe, okay? And this one didn't have coverage that we could see, but I also really have to give it to them. So if you haven't been over already, right? We've got BigONotation. This dude has his own channel. I'm gonna link it in the description. He actually does Twitch streams too, but this man not even a week ago told us that Blue Boujack was the wave and he was going to show us. And guess what? Today in Leeds, the European Fest, he got first place after Swiss. So 100% shout out to that man. Absolute mad lad, no pun intended. He actually just got there. Like, I'm actually going through the competitive discussion in my Discord. Yep, #1 in Swiss with Blue Boujack. So one more time, give a shout out, like go over to the channel, subscribe. If he has a deck list profile up by now, I'll put that up there. But yeah, homeboy made first place in Europe in the fest. Blue Boujack. Spice. Now, moving past that, we've got the we definitely got the Asian fest. And what we got for top 4 was first place was Green Broly BR, and this is actually posted by Wang Poan. So he said it was not him, but his playing the deck, piloting it to a nationals win and a placement in the worlds definitely helped. So yeah, Green Broly BR is up there. Second was Black Trunk Zinno. Third was Black Trunk Zinno, and fourth was Blue Yellow Soul Striker. So this is very interesting to me because I really do feel like Black Trunks Zinno doesn't really edge out. It doesn't edge out Gogeta Zinno in terms of playability, in terms of how fast it can be, but it's still what Black has as a mid-range deck is probably best embodied with Trunks Zinno. So I'm happy to see it topping. This is actually really cool, but it's really wild. It shows that their regional meta is a little different to have Black Trunks Zinno taking up 2 of the top 4 spaces, as well as Green Broly BR. But hey, shout outs to everybody that did their darn thing over there. Now, this one had the most coverage, but we're gonna talk about it second to last because the last one, of course, had more drama. So, getting into that, we have the Latin America, South America, and they went off today. So, I actually have a whole lot of notes here to go into it. I'm just gonna go over real quick their feature matches, and then I'm gonna talk about their top 16. And I gotta give a shout out to my friend Nino Machado. He has been a longtime follower for the channel, and he was instrumental. He was just like super crucial for me getting this information. He is from Latin America, South America. He has just fed me so much information. I was watching the stream, but I couldn't understand anybody, and he was just crucial to help me get this covered. So shout out to you, dude. Thank you for being such a long-term just subscriber, fan, friend, and I applaud you. Just thank you so much for helping me get this coverage in. So basically, going into this tournament, they had some pretty cool stuff. Sometimes they did feature matches where the people weren't XO, but it was more of like, we want to see some of these decks on screen. Sometimes they, you know, on the opposite end had Black Hatch on screen, which I wanted to vomit on. But their streams went as followed. They had 8 rounds before their cut to top 16. It's gonna happen tomorrow. And their 8 rounds were Gogeta Zinno versus Jiren, Red Jiren. That was round 1. Red Jiren won it. Really, it was aggro versus aggro, but the difference is Red Jiren has access to a lot more negative, like board removal because it's red. You know, things like Yamchas, things like the Jiren that minuses, they just had a lot more removal, and therefore Gogeta Zinno can never really keep a board. And unfortunately, you hate to see it, but the Gogeta Zinno player that lost round 1 was the Gogeta Zinno player that lost in the finals in 2021's World Championships. So he's second place, runner-up for Worlds, and he got like just beat on stream. It can happen to anybody, but it was just kind of sad seeing that happen. I know that's not the way you want to start off your tournament, especially coming so hot off of a major premier tournament. Round 2 feature was Trunks and Vegeta versus Red Launch. That was a really awkward one to see. Like, shout out to the Red Launch player because the Red Launch player did win. It was Red Blue Launch, but it also, from watching that match, Trunks never really got online. Like, he set up blockers and was constantly trying to draw his way into things. So I'm not sure if it was just really variance, whether the deck wasn't crafted correctly, but it did seem like Trunks never got to see its power. Sat on the defensive and just kept trying to filter through the deck and just never got anything off the ground. Launch was sitting comfortably, and then eventually Launch was able to amass enough cards to just like punch through multiple turns in a row, got there. Unfortunately, you know, the Trunkses, you have to use their effects as mandatory like Poutine. So even though the Trunks had, you know, 3 cards on board, like a Trunks blocker, as well as a Poutine, you just play 1 card through effect and those effects just get wiped. They have to target the same thing. So moving on, next round 3 was Yellow Blue Zamasu / Goku Black Wish versus Trunks and Vegeta. This is unfortunate because both of the decks had very similar like cores, but they have different, well, very similar shells, but they have different cores, if that makes sense. Trunks allows you to put so much more pressure on than Zamasu, and they both have the same defensive cards, but over time, you know, they're both defending each other, or defending themselves from each other, but Trunks is able to just put on more pressure, which led to Zamasu getting bodied. Zamasu just really lost that war of attrition, and it looked completely one-sided. Their round 4 was U7 Goku versus U7 Goku. This was pretty interesting, but you'll find that red matches are generally kind of skill intensive 9 times out of 10. Your board removal is key because in aggro, a fair amount of pressure is its hand destruction on its own. You push your opponent, you push cards out of their hand because they don't want to die. So when you have red versus red, it becomes a very volatile matchup of needing to answer their board just as much as you go for their face. Most people are just like, oh, you just swing for the face and whoever wins wins. No, you swing at their face and you can get them low, but if you don't take care of their board, you're dying on clapbacks. They're going to add more pressure to that board. So you really do need to manage their board. It becomes a very tight battle. And Unfortunately, in this matchup, the die roll very much so meant a lot, because one player was able to resolve his Ultra Mastery, and then he was able to apply that pressure on top of the pressure he already had, while simultaneously looking at his opponent's hand, seeing just how much they had to work with, and ripping out their own best play. And that actually made it terrible. I never really looked at it like that before, but an Ultra Mastery, looking into your opponent's hand and ripping out theirs, and then just proceeding to dominate the game from then on, it was very, very saddening. So, of course, U7 Goku versus U7 Goku, U7 Goku won. King! And next, this is a little unfortunate. We got King Piccolo versus Black Hachiak. I did not want to watch this. This kind of sucked. But it went to time. Go figure, because 30-minute rounds, Black Hachiak is going to negate all day. Piccolo is going to go wide, but not necessarily super tall. And Black Hachiak is able to manage that. But at the end of the day, King Piccolo stayed at high life total. Black Hachiak did not. They took their damage early on. They might have had to use a sparking. I missed some of the match, but they ended in time. Black Hachiak had less life. King Piccolo won. Then we're moving on to King Piccolo versus Gogeta Zinno. This one was really hard. The Gogeta Zinno player won, but the quality of the stream kind of dropped, so it was like potato quality, and I could not see it whatsoever. So I apologize, I wasn't able to see that. And you're moving on to round 7, which is AOD versus King Piccolo. This is pretty intense. I heard it was actually really, really strong. I only got to see some of it, but both decks went back and forth. It was very surprising that AOD was able to match the ferocity of King Piccolo with how many free plays King Piccolo has, but at the end of the day, King Piccolo was able to get it out. They both dropped their secret rares. This is actually one of the coolest parts about this. AOD dropped Pan, which is very strong, but Piccolo actually dropped Radiant Saiyans, which is crazy. 2 energy for that, and it actually really changed the state of the game. So, you know, it's pretty strong. It's really, really strong. Apparently, King Piccolo also really savaged AOD with the Resolve Renewed counterplay. It was just very, very strong. And yeah, oh yeah, by the way, I'm sorry. AOD played Kai, not Pan. So that just really was able to break it through. Now, when it comes down to it, after the Swiss ended, here is the breakdown. Once again, courtesy to Nina Machado for getting me this. If any of the details are not correct, I apologize. This was gotten on the fly, but I do trust him, and he did his best to get some information. First place, Green Turles. Second place, Launch, probably the red-blue variant. Third place, Gogeta Zinno. Fourth place, Goku U7. Fifth place, Red and Blue Mill Cooler. Sixth place, Vegeta SS4 Ramp. Seventh place, King Piccolo. 8th place, King Piccolo. 9th place, Android 16. 10th place, Black Hatch. 11th place, we're unsure of. 12th, Trunks and Vegeta. 13th, unsure of. 14th, unsure of. 15th, Goku U7. And 16th, Agents of Destruction. So there you go, minus 3 missing decks. That is the top 16 of the Latin America DBS Fest. So I hope you guys are liking that information. And yeah, I'm really just trying to give it to you guys the way it should be given. Now, we're gonna move on to the American one. And there was a lot less coverage for the American one, but I wanted to reach it because there were a lot of whole things with the structure of the tournaments that actually really put wrenches in this. So, when going to Texas, first and foremost, I wanna put it out here right now. It is up to the TO to do their streaming. In some events like Worlds and Nationals, yes, Bandai will take it upon themselves to make sure there is a stream going. But when it's a regional, when it's something like this is all on the TO. The TO needs to supply, you know, they need to hire somebody, and that person can come in with their own equipment, or maybe a person gets supplied equipment by the TO. But it is not Bandai's like duty to provide this when it comes to this stuff, and that is actually really, really crazy. So when it comes to that, it kind of makes me sad that this tournament organizer did not decide to stream day one. They got commentators, they got commentators, Ivo and Evan, but they did not get a stream going day one. So we're sitting here at some of the biggest tournaments in the beginning of the season with no ability to see what happens on day one. And that's hurtful. That actually really sucks. So we're going to kind of like dive into that and hopefully kind of just, you know. So moving past that, and the unfortunate part about not having a stream day one. So moving on from this, what we have here, I was trying to get as many decks as possible from friends that were going, from people that were kind of like just around, from Evan's videos. but it looks like we have a fair amount of decks going into Texas. Decks that we're able to see: U7 Goku, Sin Shenron, Green Gotenks, King Piccolo, Janemba Mill, Trunks / Vegeta, Gogeta Zinno, Super Saiyan 4 Ramp, Trunks Zinno, Soul Striker, both UR and UY. We've got Vegeta BR. I even saw one of those. That's crazy. I don't think it did that well, but hey, yo, just check it out. Finn, same deal. Broly BR, Android 21, yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Taku, Helku, however you want to call it. You got Golden Frieza, U7 Vegeta, you got Agents of Destruction, yellow Gotenks even, Zamasu Goku Black Wish, Majin Vegeta, Android 16, Launch, Vegeta, Mecha Gabora. There's so much here. But the ones that really stood out in terms of representation were Soul Striker. There's a whole bunch of Soul Striker. U7 Goku, there was a whole bunch of U7 Goku. And Sin Shenron, bunch of that, and then Gogeta Zinno. So those are the 4 decks I'd say like really hit the top of the meta. Soul Striker, Sin Shenron, U7 Goku, Gogeta Zinno. Which is to be expected. Really is to be expected. There was still a fair amount of Janemba too. Can't leave that out. So yeah, I say those are the 5 pillars of the meta right now. Now the first thing I want to kind of get into is that there were actually supposed to be 9 rounds this tournament, and this is gonna be a call to like action. Like, I'm really gonna start trying to hammer this down. We need to get rid of this stupid 1 undefeated rule, because this time it has really killed the crap out of a solid tournament. For any of you guys that didn't know, and I hate when the focus is on drama, so I'm not gonna even bring in names to it, but I do want to let you guys know how this went. The tournament was estimated to be 9 rounds because of the people there. At 9 rounds, if you top, you topped. There's no like, oh man, stupid tiebreakers really screwed me. Like, yeah, you're always gonna be able to bubble, but at 9 rounds, you know if you're gonna top, by the time. If you're X2, you still have a chance. X1 should automatically be a top. Now, this tournament was to be 9 rounds, but going into round 7, the TO understood that by 8, there should have only been 1 undefeated. So they rechanged the amounts of rounds, saying that after round 8, that would be it. Already cutting the tournament short by 1 round. And I've been a part of this before, I'll get to that later. But then in round 7, 2 people who were at a top table. At round 7, there were 4 undefeateds and they were all paired against each other. So 2 undefeated tables. One of those tables did not show up. Like, both players did not show up. And this should have caused a disqualification. Like, this should have caused a loss on both sides. And honestly should have, in my opinion. But instead, both players received a draw. In a tournament where draws are not supposed to happen. The entire purpose of these new time rules, the entire purpose of this new format is to make sure that draws are not possible. But instead, these 2 players got a draw. Furthermore, because now there are no undefeated players, because a draw does not count as undefeated, what we are now at is round 7. The 2 undefeated that played 1 won, 1 lost, making their 1 undefeated. Another X1 got added to the pool, and now there are there was 2 people that had 6 wins and 1 tie. The tournament then was ended at 7 rounds, turning people who had valiantly played their best at X2 to win out in hopes of ending their tournament X2, in terms of ending their tournament 7-2, who then had to be told that they could end their tournaments at 6-2. Then ending up at 5-2 and completely dashing all of their hopes for any sort of top, while wasting their time for playing it out like that, knowing they had 2 losses. Unacceptable. And furthermore than that, you now have these players who are X1 who did not make top cut. 2 people did not make top cut at X1, did not make top 16 at X1. While 2 people that may have intentionally, I'm gonna say may have, because I'm not gonna point the finger, you guys can come to that conclusion yourself, may have intentionally not shown up for their match, were able to get into top 16. Once again, I'm not saying names because I don't want the drama like that. But I just think that more so than the players, it's this stupid undefeated 1 undefeated rule that needs to stop. So that's unfortunate. Now that I'm done with that, I do want to congratulate the people at hand. We've got a stacked top 16. So I know some of these decks, I don't know some of these decks. All right, you get what I'm saying? So what we're looking at is we got in the top 16 in order, Giancarlo Paradiso. Dude is rocking it. Dude is rocking it. Y'all should know I have mad love for Chesco. He is the homie. He's been on the channel a couple times. He will be on the channel in the future. But Chesco he got that dub. He got that first place seed with King Piccolo. Then you got Michael Kano. He got second place with Piccolo as well. Henry Silva at third place. Juhaba at fourth place with Sin Shinron. Let's get it. Jacob Solis at fifth place. Janik Toll, the Pirate Crew King, at fifth place with U7 Goku. Get that? You got Eddie St. Hilaire. I don't know why his name is like that on there, but it cracked me up. I didn't reach out to ask because I'm sure he's going to announce what deck he played on his own channel. He's a content creator too, and I do not rep him, so go and ask him, but props to him for getting that high. We got Danny Nguyen, who is not the Danny Nguyen I thought, but he is still very much so a Danny Nguyen. And he was actually playing Gogeta Zinno. So congrats to him, and congrats for repping that deck as well. We got Gerardo, Edzema? I'm so sorry if I butchered your name, but props to you for winning and getting up there. 10th place, you have Arturo Fuentes. 11th place, you have Joey Gonzalez. 12th place, you have Alston Waldron. I need to reach out to him because he's been up here before. I saw his name recently, but congrats to you too. 13th place, Abel Alvarez, also up there recently. 14th place, we got Chi Sung. 15th place, the homie, Amani Edwards, one of my close friends. Get it in there. He got there with Sin Shinron. And then you have 16th place, George Machado from PPG. So yeah, we have a stacked top 16, and I cannot wait to see them duke it out tomorrow. I hope to God it's best of 3, but because best of 1 is cool to use faster than best of 1. Best of 3 is the primary format, and it is the best way to test skill and weed out variance. So hey, it is what it is, what it is, what it is. So yeah, I am very, very happy about that. But yeah, it's unfortunate that the tournament kind of had to get a little smudged by that, you know, just actual ruling thing. Now that being said, that is the top 16 for the American ones. This video is almost 25 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We had a lot of decks come through. We are currently seeing throughout this that King Piccolo, Goku, U7, Soul Striker, and Gogeta Zinno are very, very, very strong. And shout out to everybody that got close. I am so sorry for the 2 X1s that did not get into there. And they're actually both really good players. It's just like Rohit and Russell. You guys deserve recognition. You guys piloted your decks well as per usual. Both of these names are they're no strangers to top cuts. And unfortunately, they did not make it, especially with the crap that went on. It's very unfortunate. But it is what it is. All I want to say is that once again, that one undefeated rule, it needs to go. It's trash. I can say nicer things about it, but it has messed up so many tournaments already. Just to know, at Gen Con, there were some odd things that were going on towards the end that made me just a little bit sad. But like, if the game had ended at the proposed rounds, because we were supposed to have 7 rounds, I would have ended X1 on 7 rounds with a pretty good tiebreakers. Instead, we had another round added on because undefeated rule, because too many people tied. And that could have really thrown my stuff into jeopardy. And there's like, it's just at a point where this undefeated rule has caused so many problems and has never really felt good at all. So I think it's just time that we move on from it. That being said, I hope this breakdown was neat. I'm gonna come back with a part 2 tomorrow night when it comes to the top cuts. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Like I said, let me know how you feel about the competitive angle of this channel. I'm really trying to get out there, and I hope you guys like the video. So thank you guys, and yeah, I'll see you the next time you decide to join Universe X. If you like the video, like it, comment, let me know your thoughts, subscribe. Later.